Two Moons by Sharon Creech. Chapter 10. Huzzah, huzzah. I had just finished telling Graham and Gramps about the mysterious message when Gramps pulled off the freeway. He said he was tired of chewing up the road, and the white lines down the middle of the highway were starting to wiggle. As he drove into Madison, Wisconsin, Graham said, "I feel a little sorry for Mrs. Winterbottom. She doesn't sound very happy." "They all sound screwy if you ask me," Gramps said. "Being a mother is like trying to hold a wolf by the ears," Graham said. "If you have 3 or 4 or more chickabiddies, you're dancing on a hot griddle all the time. You don't have to think about anything else. If you've only got 1 or 2, it's almost harder. You have room left over, empty spaces you think you gotta fill up." "Well, it sure ain't a skinch being a father either," Gramps said. Gramps touched his arm. "Horse feathers," she said. Round and round we drove until Gramps saw a parking space. Another car saw it too, but Gramps was fast and pulled in. When the man in the other car waved his fist, Gramps says, "I'm a veteran. See this leg? Shrapnel from German guns. I saved our country." We did not have the correct change for the parking meter, so Gramps wrote a long note about how he was a visitor from Banks, Kentucky, and he was a World War II veteran with German shrapnel in his leg. And he kindly appreciated the members of Fair City of Madison allowing him to park in the space, even though he did not have the correct change for the meter. He put this note on the dashboard. "Do you really have a German shrapnel in your leg?" I asked. Gramps looked up in the sky. "Mighty nice day," he said. The shrapnel was imaginary. Sometimes I am a little too slow to figure these things out. My father once said he was as gullible as a fish. I thought he said edible. I thought he meant I was tasty. The city of Madison sprawls between 2 lakes, Lake Mendota and Lake Monona. Dribbling out of these are other piddly lakes. It seems as if the whole city was on vacation, with people riding on their bikes and walking along the lakes and feeding the ducks and eating and canoeing and windsurfing. I've never seen anything like it. Graham kept saying, "Huzzah, huzzah." There's a part of the city where no cars can go. Thousands of people strolled around eating ice cream. We went into Eller Kosher Deli and Ice Cream Parlor and ate pastrami sandwiches and kosher dill pickles, followed by raspberry ice cream. After we walked around some more, we were hungry again, and so we had lemon tea and blueberry muffins at the Steep and Blue. All the while, I heard the whispers, "Rush, hurry, rush." And Graham and Gramps moved so slowly. "Shouldn't we go now?" I kept asking. But Graham would say, "Huzzah, huzzah." And Gramps would say, "We'll go soon, Chickabiddy, soon." "Don't you want to send any postcards?" Graham asked. "No, I do not." "Not even to your daddy?" "No." There was a good reason for this. All along her trip, my mother had sent me postcards. She wrote, "Here I am, Badlands, missing you terribly," and "This is Mount Rushmore. I don't see any presidents' faces. I only see yours." The last postcard arrived 2 days after we found out that she wasn't coming back. It was from Coal DeLand, Idaho. On the front was a picture of a beautiful blue lake surrounded by tall evergreens. On the back, she had written, "Tomorrow I'll be in Ludison. I love you, my Salamaca tree." At last, Gramps said, "I sure I sure hate to get back on the road. My time's a wasting. Yes, I thought. Yes, yes, yes. Graham settled back for a nap while I said a few thousand more prayers. Next thing I knew, Gramps was pulling off the road again. "Looky here," he said, "the Wisconsin Dells." He drove into a vast parking area and said, "Why don't you two go look around? I'm going to get a little shut-eye." Graham and I poked our noses into an old fort and then sat on grass watching a group of Native Americans dance and beat drums. My mother had not liked the term Native Americans. She thought it sounded primitive and stiff. My great-grandmother was a Seneca Indian, and I'm proud of it. She wasn't a Seneca Native American. Indian sounds much more brave and elegant. In our school, the teacher told us we had to say Native American, but I agreed with my mother. Indian sound much better. My mother and I liked this Indianness in our background. She said it made us appreciate the gift of nature. It made us closer to the land. I lay back and closed my eyes, listening to the drums beat, rush, 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 and the dancers chant, "Hurry, hurry, hurry." Someone was jiggling bells, too. For a moment, I thought of Christmas and sleigh bells. When I opened my eyes again, Graham was gone. I glanced around, trying to remember where we had parked the car. I looked through the cloud, back at the trees, over at the concession stand. "They've gone," I thought. "They left me." I pushed through the people. The crowd was clapping. The drums were beating. I was all turned around and could not remember which way we had come. There were 3 signs indicating different parking areas. The drums thundered. I pushed further into the crowd of people, who were now clapping louder in time with the drums. The Indians had formed 2 circles, one inside the other, were hopping up and down. The men danced in the outer circle and wear feather headdresses and short leather aprons. On their feet were moccasins, and I thought again about Phoebe's message. Don't judge a man until you've watched 2 moons in his moccasins. In the circle of men, the women with long dresses and ropes of beads had joined arms and were dancing around one older woman who was wearing a regular cotton dress. On her head was an enormous headdress, which had slipped down over her forehead. I looked closer. The woman in the center was hopping up and down. On her feet were flat white shoes. In the space between drum beats, I heard her say, "Huzzah, huzzah."